Geek Dad Life presents Toy Geeks, a live toy talk show. Tonight we're going to wrap up the 2022 Hasbro PulseCon and share our final thoughts on this yearly event. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toy Geeks. My name is Jay, and with me 2 nights in a row now, he's got internet, is my good friend John. John, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Doing great. How are you on this wonderful Sunday?
I'm doing well. 3 nights in a row. As I was getting ready, as I was setting up and trying to help put the kids to sleep while Colleen's also, getting stuff ready. The amount of disdain my wife had for me tonight with 3 nights in a row of doing this was at a super high level. So thank you, Colleen. Let's give lots of love to Colleen for letting me do this 3 nights in a row. But super pumped to be here to wrap up PulseCon, put a bow on it. And I can't think of any better a person to join us to put a bow on PulseCon than friend of the channel, past, current, and future guest Dan Larson will be joining us today to run through our final thoughts on PulseCon, all the reveals, and then everybody in the chat. You will get to vote best in show, worst in show, and then we'll move on. We'll move on from PulseCon. We got some great one amazing Four Horseman set that I'm gonna tease it, but may or may not be my first ever Four Horseman purchase. Also, I got John excited, and then also some new Masters of the Universe, and we got a Stump John. Oh, and Toy Shiz will be joining us a little bit later. So just big heavy hitter guests tonight, John. Thank you to all the guests this week. Tons of guest hosts. I put links to all of the guest hosts from the past 3 days. You can find those in the descriptions. If you haven't given them a subscribe or check out their channels yet, please do. And then before I say hello to chat, and then we'll bring in our special guest, Dan, I do want to set our like goal. It is the first episode of a new month, which means it's our patron giveaway. And I got a good one today. So for our patrons, you're already locked and loaded. A Grizzlor, still in its shipper case, can be yours to any of our patrons. So you'll be put into a raffle to win one of these. And for our like goal, I don't want to just give stuff away to the patrons. I want to give stuff to anybody that wants to join. I got another Grizzlor. I bought these both. One was I think I was going to review. Maybe I'll try to get another one. I already pre-ordered one to whatever. But anywho, if we hit 400 likes today, we'll give one of these away to anybody that's here with us tonight. John, what do you think about that like goal? I think
is fully attainable.
Totally.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Dan Larson's here.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Big heavy hitter guest. All right. Let's say hello to the chat, and then we'll bring out our guests. The chat is hopping as always. It was hopping like 30 minutes ago. Doomed HUD, Arthurian, Throwback, Hedgehog, Rick Capabianco, Robert Alessandri, Cobweb. I got 2. We've got Phineas Dima, Nelson A, Shiny Plastic People, Brett Reynolds, Eddie Malhadiro, Pop Actor, Josh Ruth, Riley Bob, stuff made by Alex, Toy Geekosaurus, Migo Hulk, Smedberg is in the house, Toy Sorceress, Dole is here, and he may be joining us later in the after show. Michael Miller, Tony Olivero, Jonathan Morello, Black Phoenix, Toy Art is here, Brick Something Lab Rat, Dalzell, Retroaction Robert, Joseph Joe Kerr, Power Ranger for Life. Did I do Brick Something? I'll do it again. Free Reign, Lucha Johnny, Chris A, Troy, Nightmare, Caveman Comics, Renders, and so many more. Woo! Hop and chat. Still here to talk some PulseCon. All right, enough of yammering. Let's bring out our special guest. You know him as host of the fantastic, not just Toy Tuber channel, just pop culture channel in general. Toy Galaxy, Secret Galaxy, been on the show before. One of my favorite guests, always brings his A game. Dan Larson. Let's give a warm welcome to Dan. Dan, hello.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey, real quick, I haven't seen any of the announcements from PulseCon. Can you just real quick run through what was shown off? What figures did they announce? Just real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you know they're doing another Lando. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
It's a good looking Lando. Okay.
Best of PulseCon. I'm writing a note. Best of Lando.
Just a whole Lando wave. Just all the Landos. I'm here for it. Oh my God, this is a new family member. Jay and John are so hot. Please kiss daddies. That's a first. But your family now
has got to be a spammer.
They joined the family. They got to get the thing.
I got family.
That's a great name. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, so Dan, I think this is fun having you on because it's the regular toy postings on the channel maybe aren't as frequent. So I'd love to get your thoughts on just kind of the event in general, and kind of what was your thoughts of the big Hasbro weekend.
I thought it was great. I think I think they oversell themselves just a little bit. So they really pour it on thick with that intro where it's like, we reinvented the way toy conventions are run online, and it's like, you're just live streaming. We've all been live streaming. Settle down.
No, but they have 3D Transformers in their lobby or whatever.
That's true. That's true. We would definitely have to do a little bit of work on the back end to get that to happen here, but we could pull it off. So you're still not really impressing me that much. But it's a fun weekend. It's a fun thing for them to have, adjusted from the last couple of years and just made this a fun online thing that everybody gets to sit home and tweet and chat and do live streams and make videos and reactions and all that stuff. And it's a fun community event, I think. And I appreciate that they do it. We'll obviously get into some of the details of what works and what doesn't work and the hits and misses. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. It's kind of one of those things where it is a convention put on by like the company that makes the toys that they're trying to sell you. So it's kind of, it's not as
that going in.
Exactly. So I think you know that going in, and just have fun with it. And I think for the most part, the brand teams have fun with it, and even the hosts, even though maybe they're not like diehard toy fans, they're giving it their all, and are really energetic. But
big props to Thu Adams for kicking off the pre-show on Friday. That was a big deal. And from following him on Twitter, he was very excited and very terrified. And I think I would have been too. Same exact thing. Like I was feeling I was like, he's not my kid or anything, but that's how I felt about him. I was like, oh my God, I know he can do it, but I just want him to do well,
I've seen his first Little League game. Just like, come on. Yeah. But where's the GDL's DJ? That's what we've been missing this whole time. Thank you, Phineas Spock. But that was really cool. It is a big deal. But they had kind of different YouTubers, podcasters kind of jump in throughout the weekend. And somebody asked me, I was like, would you do that? I was like, I don't think I would want to do it, because you couldn't ask like a legit question. And then all people would do is just like tear you apart the second you come on. So I was like, I don't think I would want to do it if I ever was asked.
Yeah. I think they asked me last year, I think,
or
one of these years. And I was like, maybe a couple years ago when we were still more solidly, doing toy reviews and Marvel Legends and Black Series all the time and Transformers. But at this point, we've sort of tried to push out into a bigger sort of audience and move beyond toys. We still talk about toys, obviously, in my Instagram, my social media. Toy Galaxy 2 will always be that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I don't know. Because, like you said, it's like they're going to say, here's the question you ask. Keep it brief. Don't get funny,
Don't be yourself.
Yeah.
We have a super chat here. I lost it. Darn it, I had it here to press in. Sorry, here we go. Earl Potts. Dan, my faves in one place. How about that indie retro? Yeah, we'll get into them in a second. John, any final thoughts here before we start pressing in these things as we kind of run through them and wrap them up?
No. I mean, the hired hands, I'll call them, that kind of show us what's happening at PulseCon, or it's almost like an entrapment con. Like obviously they are just pushing the companies, but it's they did what they were there to do. That's it. And we got to take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And I think this year was pretty good.
Yeah, this one felt like the reveals were pretty good. Everything, even the host of the show, even though it's kind of corny or whatever, at least they didn't hang around too long. Honestly, the most corny thing was the selfie series plugs every 5 minutes. That to me was the most corny part about it. But speaking of which, Dan, do you have your selfie series ready to go?
I posted on my Twitter my first attempt at it, and it doesn't look great, but I think there are things that I can do to sharpen it a little bit more. You know, like the first couple times it aired out, and I was like, all right, I need to go back and listen to the instructions again and actually do what it says. So I think I can refine it and get a better take at it, because I definitely need to try again.
I feel like that's I mean, that was my experience too, because they did it at Comic-Con. I'm trying to pull up. Did you post it on Instagram?
I put it on Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Okay, here we go. Oh, the Power Rangers one.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
it's not great.
Haunt people a little bit.
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh no,
it definitely. Somebody described it as looking like an old, N64 or like PS1, model, and I was like, yeah, that's about right. There's just no life in the eyes.
It's like a Zemeckis mid 2000s picture.
Yeah.
But Dan, you already kind of lucked out with the selfie series and with the that Mr. Fantastic head sculpt.
It's true.
Yeah, so it's like, do I really need one?
you already won.
I already got one.
Oh my God. All right. So day one, we had a few different brands. And to be honest, none were huge, or at least Power Rangers and Transformers. At least for me, I'm not as current on Transformers and Power Rangers. Dan, I think you're a bigger fan of these than both John and I. But what was your thoughts on Transformers, Power Rangers, kind of the start of the day?
Transformers, I've definitely backed off on a bit in the last couple of years. Once Earthrise hit, and Earthrise and Studio Series delivered some ideal versions of characters for me: Optimus Prime, Hot Rod, and so I've gotten to the point with my collection where I'm like, all right, if you can hit a character good enough for me, I think I can check out of the next couple versions of it for a few years. So Earthrise Optimus, I sort of said, all right, I'm done with Optimus. Studio Series Hot Rod, I'm done with that one. I was surprised by, I never really read the IDW comics, but I know who Tarn is. So I was very surprised to see Tarn and know anything about Transformers. Don't know anything about Transformers. Tarn is just a cool looking robot. So I don't even care for his alt mode, whatever the tank sort of thing is that he's supposed to be. I don't care for that. I just thought he was a really cool looking robot, was surprised to see it. And so that was one I definitely immediately pre-ordered.
That was the one they did the
in studio. And props to those hosts, like selling the illusion, the kayfabe of him being there. Whoa. Eye line right in the right spot.
Oh my God. Yeah, in the perfect spot. Perfect. Again, like early days CGI where it would be like a tennis ball, and it's just like, look at, he's right there. But
it's just a cool robot.
Yeah. He's got a Decepticon face. He's just cool. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
If out of all, so you did pre-order this one. So this one
did order Tarn. Yep, absolutely. And that's, again, with having no connection whatsoever to, I don't know his mythology. I don't know anything about him. It's just a cool looking robot. The tank treads on his shoulders, the double fusion cannon thing going on there. And he looks really, really poseable. He's got the two almost like, Gundam style. They look like beam sabers, coming out of his back there. I don't know what they're actually supposed to be. And then, of course, the Decepticon logo face mask. That's all just top tier right there. Yeah, just cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool toy. The one that I pre-ordered was the Orion Pax and Alpha Trion set.
Yep.
And I don't even know why. It looked really cool, or it's just like I'm big into mythology, so it's just cool getting that set.
Yeah, the Transformers movie. Obviously, it's easy to joke about, like, they killed Optimus Prime, they screwed it all up, they ruined my childhood, they killed Robot Dad, all that stuff. But like, the further I got away from it as a Transformers fan and collector and whatever, the more I was like, actually, that's a really intriguing idea. Like, the mythology has gone into like you know, who was the leader before Optimus? Who was
Yeah.
he? He was, you know, Orion Pax, you know, what did he look like? All this stuff. And then what does it look like after him? You know, and this
Yes.
idea that it's Hot Rod and he becomes Rodimus. And that's actually a cool transition. Whether or not they executed it, you know, the best way, that's water under the bridge at this point. He's been killed and brought back so many times that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the ramifications and all of the years of therapy for us kids that were devastated at the death have hopefully moved on. But let's see. I do want to plus in this super chat here. I thought I'd be happy if I ever got an official tarn. Now I want more. Finish the DJD. But yeah, and another super chat here. Lando, I wanted more Mando.
They delivered more Mando.
Oh man. But yeah, I think overall Transformers to me, even as not a big Transformers fan, I thought they did a pretty solid job overall. Again, getting me to buy Transformers toys when I generally don't buy them at all. I think, you know,
look, I'll be honest. I don't know if I get a bigger hit these days, like emotional, like high from things that I actually want to order or seeing pre-order announcements for things I don't want. Like, you know, stuff gets posted like, look at all these new things. And I'm like, oh, thank God I don't want any of them. There's so much out there. Like, I get a bigger high off of that.
you feel that the extra money just in your pocket.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel that. John, I know you do that as well. You know, later on yesterday, I don't know if you saw it, Dan, but yesterday John said he backed out of backing his tank, which has shooketh the community that John backed out of his tank. He's going to explain himself in our after show today. Why John backed out on his tank.
So he canceled it after the fact?
No,
Or
I just decided against it. I was against it in so many ways.
Okay, teasing. I got you.
But we'll talk about G.I. Joe in a second because I think honestly there wasn't, when we say worst of show, I don't think anybody like had a huge clunker. But let's plus in Power Rangers here. Again, I feel like I'm such an MMPR guy. Like that's what I care about. And there's a couple other things that kind of spark my interest. Dan, you have a much more involved relationship with the Power Rangers franchise because, you know, you actually got to grow up enjoying the original show, right?
Yeah. I definitely watched some of the shows back. There was only like, 5 teams when I first got introduced to Super Sentai. And so I've just sort of followed it from afar for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And then, when Power Rangers came over, I watched it more as like a nostalgic thing at that point. Like, oh, this is neat. These are kind of like the shows I used to watch, but I never really got into the story. I was just more exciting to know that there was a way that those costumes and those characters and the sort of robots and stuff were going to be imported into the US. I could just disregard the US mythology, just like I do with a lot of cool action figures that I don't follow, the actual lines and stories for. Lightning Collection, I was very excited for it when it started, but we've hit a point now with it where it's like the teams I want them to do, I know they can't do because they're not going to go back before the Power Rangers year, and those are the teams I really want more than anything. And so moving forward, I'm like, I'm not as interested in a lot of them, and it's taken so long to complete teams. I'm going to call her Yellow Buster because it's Go Busters in Japan. Yellow Beast Morpher or Beast Morpher Yellow or whatever she's called. This is from a Power Rangers season from like 4 years ago at this point. 3 years ago at this point. I want to say I can't remember if that was the season that was going on the last time Toy Fair happened. So February of 2020. I think that was the newest season. And that was Hasbro's season. That was their first year with the Power Rangers franchise. But in Japan, that season aired like 10 years ago. You know? So like they roll out Beast Morpher Red, I think was in the launch line. Like I think he was in wave 1. And now it's like 2 years later, we're finally getting that team completed. And actually, it's not a full team because they still got to do the other Silver Ranger. So I'm like, I recently purged a lot of my Lightning collection because I was like, I don't want to chase these teams anymore. We've gotten to the point where they're starting to put characters that you need to complete the team in 2-packs. Don't do that to me. That's not cool, you know? And we're at the point now where they're starting to redo characters they've already released.
Yep.
Better sculpting, better paint applications. And I'm like, no. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play that game. So I just purged a bunch of my Lightning collection. I kept the core MMPR Jew Ranger, team. And then a couple other sort of characters that I like. I still have red and blue Beast Morpher and a few others. So I was excited to finally see this figure, but the rest I've sort of opted out on.
Yeah. It's I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if it's like, and I think PTB, Power to Busters, Dummies should have released Rangers as a team in 6 per wave. We don't have inconsistencies with the same team. They're trying to apply Marvel Legends strategy to Power Rangers. And yeah, like, does Legends almost ruin all these other ideas because it just doesn't apply? Legends has been going between Toy Biz and Hasbro for 75 years. Like, is that a fallacy to take that approach to any other type of property?
I think so. Yeah, I think you sort of need to go what's right for the property versus what is the distribution or scheduling system that has worked for other brands. I think we're starting to see that with Haslabs now, that things that work for one brand don't work for another brand.
Yeah,
And I remember being excited. I remember talking to Hasbro reps at Toy Fair 2020 and saying like, wow, this is crazy. There's so many characters, and each year, let's say you roll out 4 waves a year, 5 figures, that's 20 figures a year. Each year has a new season, and there's new outfits and new characters and new Sixth Rangers and new armored versions and stuff, that you're still adding new characters to the line every year a season comes out. But it just hasn't panned out that way.
Yep. I will say I was not a fan. Did you get the Zap Megazord, the Dino Megazord? I got it. I didn't like it. I returned.
Well, I watched your review.
Okay, all right. But John, you were most excited about this. Also, Andre Black Nerd, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Again, another great person. Just have him host it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Talk about a natural,
right. But John, your internet was out the night we talked about this, so I'll give you the floor here, and Dan will get your thoughts as well. This one brought me back in. I think this thing looks, just as a toy, looks freaking amazing. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, this has been my top item for Power Rangers wants since, for probably 5 years, since like the Legacy. Was it the Legacy series? Is that what it was called? Where they brought back like better Megazords.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting this since then. I just love this design. I love the fact that it's not 5 individual Zords making one, combiner. I love the fact that it's more Transformer than anything. I just love this style. It looks so 1970s compared to so many other Power Rangers, Megazords, anything. So that's kind of what hits me the most with this. Is it just reminds me of like like earlier days. This is like an original 1970s design, and that's definitely what I love about this the most.
I'll echo that. I was Mike Case and I talk a lot. We watched Super Sentai together, and he was saying that he was totally out on the Power Ranger stuff, and then they announced this, and he said almost the exact same thing you just said. Like, that's just a really cool robot.
Yep.
And loved that it was a self-contained thing. You didn't need to go buy a bunch of other different, combiner pieces or whatever. You didn't have to put the whole thing together. It was just one robot that turns into a spaceship.
Yep. Yeah. It doesn't matter like what you collect. Like if you collect robots, if you collect Godaiken, anything, this is like your next purchase.
Yep.
You don't have to be a Power Rangers collector to get this figure. And I love this the size of it. Finally, like they're going big. Obviously it's not that big. It's not like it's 2 feet tall, but they're getting better. Whereas the Dino Megazord is like it's such like a basis. Like everything is going to get compared to the Dino Megazord, and now it's like, okay, we're going to get bigger and bigger, and hopefully like maybe they'll get to something that was bigger in the vintage series, like the Lightspeed Super Train Megazord, which was for its time, it was huge. So if like they actually get to do like that version in this series, you know, it's going to be like 3 feet tall, and you might finally get your Megazord that can fit an action figure in it, a
Well,
Panache Play style Megazord, even though it's not the Dino Megazord, but
yes.
it's something. It's getting better.
Well, the thing is, and this is and you're right. Corn Viper say it's 1/144th scale, and the Dino Megazord is the smallest out of all of them. So the fact that this is bigger is because, you know, and there's like, you know, I've seen the charts of them all laid out. Like Dino Megazord is like itty bitty, and then, you know, this one is if you had them, I think it's scaled appropriately. So, you know, you're right. Like as we get into bigger Zords, they become cooler robots. And the 165 here lands a little bit better when you've got vac metal. It's a bigger robot. It's just a cool robot versus an underwhelming Dino Megazord. And I think
I like his G.I. Joe Defiant hat.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thoughts on Mecha Manblade saying Super Train might be a Haslab.
I don't feel like the Power Rangers brand is strong enough right now to carry a Haslab.
No.
Is any brand strong enough?
G.I. Joe's doing fine.
There they are.
And Star Wars Vintage Collection and Transformers. They're all doing good.
Indeed. All right.
Still have untarnished track records.
As of now. No, I'm kidding. But let's keep moving on here. So Power Rangers. Oh, so Marvel brought up the end of day one, and when we talked about it on day one, I felt like Marvel, drama around the Haslab, whatever. I thought they really brought a pretty good presentation and amount of figures to reveal to close out day one. Dan, what was your initial takes here? What was some of the things that stood out to you?
Before we move on to Marvel, my biggest disappointment with the weekend was Fortnite, and that they had absolutely zero new stuff to announce. The things they showed off, the things they announced, people already have that entire wave in hand. So it wasn't even like, these are going to be on sale tomorrow. It's like, no, they were on sale like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was kind of a disappointment for me.
That's a great call out, because I know you're a fan of the figures. I think that's the thing about, like, I think for a lot of us, adult toy collectors, at least that I've heard, myself included, I don't play the game, but I look at those toys in the aisle, I'm like, these are really cool action figures.
Yeah. No, it was a very strange emotional roller coaster. Like Robo at the Whoosh posted on Instagram that he had found that, I can't remember what the guy's name is. He's got the gladiator looking guy. Yeah. And it was like, oh, cool, that's getting released. And he put up his review, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch this. And then I was watching his review, and I was like, I don't think I like this. And it's $40. And then the next day they announced that it's coming out. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. What world am I in?
That's a Todd McFarlane approach. Just like, it's already out, it's already reviewed, and then it's announced.
Yeah. But for Marvel, get back to Marvel there. I thought they had some really cool stuff. Spiral and Longshot were the two that I was most interested in, for sure. Yeah. Spiral especially,
Spiral's incredible. Like
I was really just trying to get a better look at like the engineering on the armpits and how it all fit together. And it looks like she's got kind of like a little, almost like a backpack kind of sticking out for the 5th and 6th arms.
There she is. Okay.
Yeah. Like those, there's 2 shoulders that are kind of forward, and then the extra shoulders are sort of out the back, and then that armor piece kind of rolls over all of it, which I think works.
Yeah. That's a difficult buck to try and figure out.
Yeah. Well, and I think they did a better job with this than 6-arm Spider-Man. Like this one has a lot more mobility in that torso. 6-arm Spider-Man has like no crunch, no nothing. They just kind of, the arms went down the side and that was it.
Yeah, they just went for the stacked approach for that 6-arm.
Right. You can see how the armor just sort of goes over the arms in the back.
Yeah, I mean, good. John, I mean, as you know, because you've done toy sculpting, you've sculpted toys, like just from that perspective, how difficult is this to pull off this well?
I think they lucked out that Spiral is the character that she is, because her hair, the draping hair is covering up so much. It's the hidden aspect that worked to their advantage. It's, and so if she had short hair, this figure would probably look terrible and looked a little hunchbacky. But because the hair is there, it's definitely to their advantage for the design aspect.
Yeah.
It's gonna present some posing challenges, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how like balanced it'll be, once you have it on a shelf. But I think the other thing that I appreciate about this toy is it's $24.99, which is higher than these have been. But some of the price, I don't know, it's kind of all over the pricing right now for Hasbro toys. But $25 for all of this seems like a really good buy.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, sorry, jumped it. But yeah, I really like that. And what was the other one you said, Dan?
Longshot.
Oh, Longshot. Yeah. Hold on.
Which was a surprise, of course. You know, we the 3-pack or 4-pack, if you want to call it a 4-pack, with Mojo, Dazzler, Longshot, and little baby Wolverine went up, and I didn't order that. That was a little too steep for me. I was not interested in Mojo at all.
Yeah.
I did want Longshot and Dazzler because the Outback X-Men, that's the team I'm trying to complete.
Yeah.
And I need Longshot and Dazzler for that. And so I have the other Dazzler. I have the other 2 Dazzlers. I have 70s Dazzler with her roller skates, and I have the other Dazzler, which is short hair and little leather jacket, which is fine. But I also want this version of her as well. So I was pissed to see her in a pack like that, because I was like, I'm not going to spend that much for that for Longshot. So, you know, now all of a sudden, Mojo pops up at Target or whatever.
Yep.
And people start canceling their pre-orders.
Yeah.
And then now Longshot's out there and more people start canceling their pre-orders. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, good for us, right? Like, as toy collectors.
Yeah. Like, I've already had people, you know, because when that 4-pack went up, I was like, you know, if anybody doesn't want their Longshot and Dazzler, you know, reach out. So I had a couple people who were like, yeah, I just want Mojo. But now I'm like, damn it, like, if they cancel that, just get Mojo. Now I can't get their Longshot and Dazzler.
It's true. It's very true. John, you also didn't get to comment on any of the Marvel stuff. Was Spiral your number one as well, or was there anything else that you felt really stood out for Marvel?
No, the Iron Man with the giant cannon for me was the Marvel superstar. I mean, look at that thing.
It's cool. Their power went out as they were showing it, but yes.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was me or the stream.
No, it was because they said later that the power went out or something wrong.
When chat lit up.
But yeah, I mean, I don't collect Marvel, like, but I did collect it when I was a kid. Like, I was big into Toy Biz, and the Iron Man animated series packaging is probably my favorite of the animated packaging. And then when they had the Toy Biz Marvel Legends figure that had the big cannon, like, I thought that was, like, up till then, like, okay, I really like this figure. It was like, this is sort of like this figure just means something to me outside of you know. This is the perfect example of just buying the figure because you like the figure, and you're not really following any of the, you know, a show or a comic or anything. And that sounds terrible because it's Iron Man. Like, I know who Iron Man is, but, you know, I just don't.
It's so
I don't read
Marvel. To hear so many people talk about this version of Iron Man being like their favorite Iron Man, and this is the one, and that's I've always hated this suit. I hate it. I hate it. And I'm like, zip! Don't take away other people's joy. Keep it to yourself.
Don't yuck their yum, Dan.
And how cool is it that the cannon comes in a separate box? I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I think people were worried because it comes in another box, and that was like kind of leaked earlier in the day. I was like, oh no, are we not going to have it, you know, with the bubble or whatever? But it's a whole box set, and you get this here. And you know, as they move away from it, you know, at least you've got the Iron Man and War Machine with the classic Iron Man bubble. Before it is all said and done, Dartherian, nothing reveals the Blob. I will say, for as many hints for the Blob, I can't believe they didn't unveil the Blob, but whatever, I guess.
Do you think they'll save that for New York, though?
Probably. But there was just so many hints. There was like the quiz question. They just kept hinting at the blob. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to stress about it. But it's coming. It's coming. Make Mine Marvel Legends channel became a member of the GDL family. Welcome.
I got family.
You've got family with GDL family. All right, let's move along here. Let's go to day 2. And day 2 started out with the G.I. Joe team. Dan, you are famously a G.I. Joe fan. Just dropped a very good video on G.I. Joe, the movie, the other day, Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thoughts on the G.I. Joe presentation?
Fantastic. I'm very excited for it. I liked their non-answer for, medium range vehicles. That I seems like the trouble bubbles are on the way. The ferret is on the way. These things, the Cobra night landing raft, maybe all that stuff.
Yep.
Outpost defender. We can dream. As far as all the figures were revealed, I think the only one I wasn't interested in was I can't even remember now, because I definitely ordered Serpentor, Outback, Crimson Bat, CoverGirl, Falcon. What else did they put up for
Barbecue?
Oh yeah. I didn't care about him.
I don't think anybody did that.
I was never interested in it. Like, having been there when it all started, like I was never interested in the Slaughter's Marauders, Tiger Force, Python Patrol. None of those sort of repaints did anything for me at the time. So I've just never had any connection to them.
I agree. Well, it's a repaint of an already relatively peg warming figure, right? Like, so
I mean, I've always loved Barbecue. I was very excited. Can't believe they put him out this early, in the line, but I don't need him in blue. And are they going to do the rest of the Marauders? I'm not even sure. I can't even remember who all is in Slaughter's Marauders, because I just really haven't paid attention to it. So again, it's like, is this a Power Rangers thing where you're going to chase this team for the next 3 years?
Yeah, I think that's the direction, because it's Barbecue, Spirit, Footloose. Who else was there?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I get Recondo.
Because I think I get them mixed up too with Night Force. Is in there as well. And then there's Special Missions Brazil.
Yep. You know what I think they should have done with a Barbecue buck? Paint it Cobra colors with a Cobra logo and made it like a Cobra Trooper, and they would sell the crap out of this figure.
Yeah.
When in doubt, just turn into a Cobra Trooper.
Yep.
So like gangbusters,
for sure. But no, I was very, very happy with what they rolled out for G.I. Joe. Every single figure that went up for pre-order, except for Barbecue, I was all in on. The bats, other than Python Patrol, I'll probably be in on every bat variation that they do.
Yeah, and especially just the crimson, it just looks so good. Just the red looks really good. Falcon's another one that I wasn't super hot on. I mean, it looks fine, but Outback is a must. And then people are still pissed about me because of CoverGirl and saying she looked like Joan Rivers. I'm sorry, it's just what I saw in the face sculpt. But still, it's a great looking figure. Sold out. But but what's your thoughts on? A lot of people are kind of upset that no O-ring talk whatsoever. I think Emily at Comic-Con said about in 2 months there'll be stuff to talk about with that. Maybe they're saving it for New York Comic-Con, but zero O-ring talk at PulseCon.
Yeah, it's a weird. It was a weird overall schedule of announcements, from Fortnite not having anything new to the Power Rangers teasing stuff that they didn't show, and pipeline reveals with Star Wars. It's like they have a all year long sort of release, tease, show, release, sort of operation at this point. So if this was 4 or 5 years ago, I feel like all of these teams would have shown like 7 or 8 more figures at least. But now, things being the way that they are, it's like, isn't there going to be a Force Friday like next week, and then Marvel, I don't remember what days they do their events, but like they're going to keep doing those things so they can't burn all their stuff on PulseCon, even though it's PulseCon.
Yeah. And yeah, so hopefully there's still something there. I will say though, I got that last set, was kind of just meh on it because I had a really badly painted Duke face, and it's kind of been pricey as it is. So I'm feeling really meh about O-rings, even though I love the concept. A big fan and backer of the Sky Striker set, and have been buying them, or at least pre-ordering them all, but it feels a little aimless, a little lost at the moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd love to see, the conversations that are happening with that and with the retro lines, Star Wars retro and this new Indiana Jones retro,
Yeah.
to see what the different teams are thinking about the approaches to those sort of retro lines, because the fans that are interested are there. I don't know exactly what the quantity of buyers is. Certainly not at the price points they're currently at. So I'm not sure. The Sky Striker was interesting, but I didn't back the Sky Striker because I was looking for a rebirth of O-Ring. I backed the Sky Striker for the jet itself. I have a whole tub of action figures, from 25th and all the other stuff that I can use with that. So if they never make another O-Ring figure, I'm not really going to be disappointed.
That's the thing, especially when we'll maybe talk about with the indie, but that's a really expensive and hard to find figure complete, and that fig, and they're selling it for $14. So like that's like crap. I can have a complete Indiana Jones now, and versus $20-ish for an O-ring release.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's a weird situation to be in where you're selling a $40, because I think that's what the 2-packs are, right? I didn't buy any of them.
Yeah.
So a $40 2-pack, and then Super 7 has a $15 5 POA reaction figure on the shelves at Target. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening here?
I don't know. But let's go to, I think, one of the most fun reveals, or at least panels of the day, the Indiana Jones panel. It is a property that has had okay toy lines, but has never nailed it or has been super successful. Has had its share of peg warmers. But this 6-inch Indiana Jones, at least what they showed us here, looks incredible. I think it looks awesome. But Dan, what was your thoughts on seeing this?
I think it looks great. If there was a big surprise for me as far as PulseCon was concerned, it was that they actually showed off an entire wave of figures and had figures in hand. I thought we were just going to get the brand announcement.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit of tease here, there, maybe a couple of 3D renderings, but the fact that they actually showed off the figures, I was shocked by that, much less being able to pre-order them, I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan. There was no part of me that was like, God, I need that. But it was if they do it, I'll definitely get Indy. There's absolutely no question. And it sounds like, what did they say? 25 figures were coming.
Yeah.
If that's 5 figures per wave, I'm going to assume there's probably going to be an indie in every wave.
Yeah.
So I will probably end up with multiple indies, which will be a weird position to be in.
Thoughts on, because you're right, like these other figures would peg warm in normal circumstances, but what are your thoughts on the build and artifact, at least with the first wave giving you the Ark of the Covenant? Is that a convincing or enough of a draw to be all in for every single way so you can build these artifacts or whatever?
It looks like it is for some people, but it is not for me. I'm not that. I know it's not a piece that I need so bad that I'm going to drop an additional $100 on other figures just to complete that little plastic Ark. It looks cool, but I just need Indy. I'll take Indy on his own adventures. Sans Ark, it's not a big deal. Melting tote head is the number 2 piece as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I can't believe they're doing that. I can't believe that's going to be a retail release. Like, that's incredible.
So yeah. It's crazy to me that people, there'll be collectors all over the place where like that's just how he's displayed, with his bleeding eyes, melted head, and the actors, I don't even know if he's still alive. I don't know who played him, but he's just like, well, I guess I'm on shelves. What am I going to complain about? My melting wax, mannequin head.
Yes.
But I do see a lot of that figure getting sold and people just doing head swaps for other characters because it's just guy in a suit,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100%. And then the whole thing wrapped up with Star Wars team. I will say also that Patrick never looked more alive than he was talking about Indiana Jones.
Fresh start.
Right? He was just like, he was so happy and carefree. I was just like, this Patrick, just go be happy, do this, you know. If Star Wars is something else. Star Wars, I feel like this is a brand that is kind of lost, hasn't found, I don't know, maybe it needs a reset or something. But Dan, what's your thoughts here just on this brand in general and also just what Hasbro announced here?
I've kind of been out on Black Series for a while too. Again, it's like I just in my own sort of assessment of my personal collection, I got to that point where it was like, how many Lukes do I need? How many Han Solos do I need? I don't have the type of collection where I'm going to be like, this is all my Empire Strikes Back stuff, and this is all my Return of the Jedi stuff. It's like, I went through and really pared down what I have on display. And when I buy a figure now, I really, really, really ask myself, especially with prices going the way they're going. And just the volume of things that are out there, not to mention surprises like we're going to be talking about in a few minutes with Four Horsemen. You need to have some money open,
right? You do.
That stuff sneaking up on you. It's gotten to the point where I'm like, I have enough Lukes, I have enough Hans, and the new stuff that's coming out, it's like a Mandalorian figure, face covered, suit of armor, jetpack. Those are things that I've always been interested in. Those are things that feel more universal to me. It's like, I don't actually need a character that is so specific to 2 episodes of Andor, like I don't need that. There's no place in my collection for Mon Mothma, as a senator, and like I just don't need it.
Yep.
I think they are right to put the figures out, but I am not necessarily the collector that is being targeted for that.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I'm really enjoying Andor. I think it's a really
me too. It's a great job. I'm loving it.
Yeah, but it's just like, but is that good toys? Like, and that's I think the trade-off you're seeing.
Yeah, it's a weird line to try to walk for sure. Because they've gotten so much crap in the past especially with Mandalorian. Like, why didn't you have more figures ready to go? This thing is hot, And now we're on our like 15th Mandalorian and our 15th of the same Baby Yoda. Package them together, put another thing in there, missile effects, flamethrower. Like just keep cranking that out. It's like, but this almost feels like overreaction, in the other direction.
Yep. There may have been some slight hinting that a future Haslab could be the Ewok Village. That would be really exciting. Vintage collection Ewok Village, but we'll have to wait and see.
Tier 1, another tree. Tier 2, another tree. Tier 3, it's a tree.
Listen, I'm here for that, to be honest.
That doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
You just buy more than one. You can buy 5 Ewok villages and just put them together.
That's fair. You're right, Dan. That's much smarter thinking there.
Tier 2.
All right, so it's time to pick best of show, worst of show. So all of us will pick what we think was worst and also what we thought was best, and then we'll let people in the chat vote. John, I'll let you kick us off for worst of show. Just one brand. You can only pick one brand that you think was worst of show.
Oh boy. I gotta say Fortnite.
I don't have it here.
So solely based on what Dan said, like, I don't know anything about Fortnite. I know the figures look great, but nothing new to show at the brand's convention. It's a little irresponsible. It's a little lazy.
Yeah. I mean, who knows where they were at? Maybe they thought this wasn't the right venue. Toy collectors skew older. I don't know, but it's good. It's fair. It's a fair critique. Mine is going to be starting lineup. Big baseball fan. I like basketball too, but just overpriced. They don't look that good. They don't really look like the basketball players. And even when they finally showed them in person at this event, like real figures, and they still didn't look that good. So that starting lineup was worst of the show for me. Dan, what was your worst of show?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Fortnite. That was a big disappointment. It's not a brand that I care. I don't care about the game, the mythology, or anything. I love all the crazy characters, and it's just one of the most fun lines out there. Specifically because of that, you get to bring so much of your own imagination to it. And that to me just strikes at the core of what all of us love about toys and action figures and collecting and that sort of thing. And to just be like, all right, here's half an hour of stuff you've seen for 2 weeks now. It was just like, well, I guess I'm gonna go do the laundry or something. This sucks.
No, I totally understand that. So I'm putting Fortnite, I'm putting starting lineup. I'm gonna put 2 more in there just based on what I'm seeing in the chat. Selfie series and Star Wars. So I'm gonna put that in the chat right now. You can make your voices heard by voting in the chat. We've also got a couple super chats that I do want to plus in before we go into our best of show. Jason, $5 super chat, just picked up a Star Wars Black Dark Trooper for the show. I wanted him to face off against my bats. That's awesome.
You gotta wear gloves when you hold that Dark Trooper.
Oh yeah, it's very shiny, right?
Yeah.
And then John, tier 4 Ewok with a Wookiee head. Hasbro making use of spare parts. All right. Let's go to best of show, and just to check in on the vote. By a long shot, selfie series 59%. Starting lineup in second with 20%. Fortnite and Star Wars tied at 13%. So keep getting your votes in while we pick our best of show. Dan, why don't you start us off this time? We'll go like reverse order.
For me, it's Serpentor. That thing just looks absolutely gorgeous. Just so much going on there. The things that have worked so well for Classified, as far as like keeping, true to the sort of vintage design and sensibility, but also giving it some pretty cool updates, and just being in the 6-inch line. Serpentor is definitely one that, when we first heard rumblings that Hasbro was going to be bringing out a 6-inch line of action figures, it was like, someday maybe we'll get a Serpentor. And to be at that point, I'm really excited for that figure. Definitely.
Agreed. Saw it in person at Comic-Con, was just blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away by that. And the fact that it's $80, which again, they've maybe just conditioned us to so expensive prices. I was like, $80, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks.
Take it. But no, I totally feel that. And so I think in this order, I'm next. I'm gonna go. There's a few I could give it to, but I'm gonna go Indiana Jones, just because it's a new line, it's something fresh, and that Indy looks fantastic. I love the Artifact series. I love the retro re-releases. That's a line that's just so expensive. I would love to have those vintage figures, but that one's way too spendy to get into. So that was best of show for me. John, close us out for best of show.
It's got to be Indy for me too.
Oh, okay.
I think even with the new movie coming, we all know that there was going to be bound to be toys.
Yeah.
From who? It was, chances are it was going to be Hasbro, but licenses are thrown around all over the place these days. But I think they did it so well, and especially with the retro. Like, I think I might be more excited for the retro line over the Build an Artifact series or the Adventure series.
Yeah.
Solely because like it looks so much better than the retro Star Wars series. The packaging alone, without putting the big retro sticker on it, all that ugly weathering, like they kept it so true to the vintage one. And like there's the vintage, like a vintage purist will say, well, I want the vintage Star Wars figure. I don't care that there's a retro one that I can get for $10 or cheaper.
Yep.
But I think the indie one is such a perfect replacement. And I think it won't be so like intrusive to say, well, I will get that vintage retro indie figure because I don't want to spend $300 on a complete real vintage one.
Yeah.
Did they only show indie for the retro line?
Yes, so far. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I had missed the card back or something.
That was the only one, and I think they said there'd be more, so we'll have to wait and see. All right, so I'll make a new poll, but ending the worst of show, and the winner is Selfie Series with 51%, starting lineup in second with 24%, Fortnite in third with 13%, and Star Wars with 11%. So there you go. There's your final answers as voted by you in the chat. Now it's time for best of show. And then we're going to put the two that we brought up. So we've got G.I. Joe. We've got starting at G.I. Joe, Indy, and then let's add. I think Marvel had a really strong showing. What should the fourth one be for best of show? What do you think?
What do you got in there?
I've got G.I. Joe, Indy, Marvel.
Transformers.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. All right, Transformers, putting that to the community. And yeah, Thu, a lot of people are saying Thu was best of show. Gotta love that as well. So I guess Transformers is also kind of a vote for Thu. All right, so far the voting, 71 votes already in. 56% of you say G.I. Joe. In second, Indy. In third, Marvel. In last, Transformers. Gonna give you a few more seconds there, but that's a pretty large margin with over 100 votes now. 50% of the vote is
nice.
And there you go. So yeah, that's we've wrapped it up. Nothing else to say. And because we're there, it's time to bring in our next special guest, another friend of the channel, the hardest working person in toy news coverage. Like, I don't think this person ever rests. He somehow has the news, the scoops on Instagram, YouTube, whatever, all the time. He's been in the waiting room a little bit, so hopefully he's still here when I press him in. Longtime friend of the channel, Toy Shiz. First time guest, Toy, are you there? Mr. Shiz.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you guys. I'm here. What's up? John J, Mr. Larson, how are you?
Hello.
Good.
Nice to see you guys. I've been tuning in, hearing all your Hasbro PulseCon talk. Good choices.
Yes, I'm sure. I appreciate you jumping in a bit later because I'm sure you're sick of covering PulseCon.
No, they could have trimmed out a few things, but my favorite part was when it ended.
but Shiz, do you feel that way almost about like every convention? Because you're at like all these conventions, you're taking pictures, you're making posts, like you're sharing things on stories. Like, I don't know how you do all that.
No, honestly, I mean, quite frankly, I'm very lucky that I get to do that, one, and two, I still have fun. I still get to see a lot of people. Like Jay, I met you at PowerCon last year, and Dan, I think the last time I saw you was a toy fair before the world collapsed. So,
Yep, 2020.
Yeah, and John, nice to meet you.
You as well. You as well.
I'm gonna stump you tonight. I sent Jay a little. Hopefully, I get you. I don't know. We'll
Yeah, he did send me one accessory, John, to throw into the mix here.
That's all I got. I was looking around. I'm like, shoot. I said I'd send something. Yeah, okay. But no, going to all these conventions and such. I'm lucky that I live in California, so for the most part, I can get around to all the major ones. I know New York Comic Con is coming up. I don't think I'll be going to that one. It's kind of cutting it close now, but it's nice, and plus events that kind of go on. Like I went to the San Diego Museum for the Spider-Man exhibit. That was fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
hopefully save some people. If you can't make it across the states and everything else, you can just watch that video and pretend you're there. Just look shocked when you're watching the video.
So the next thing we wanted to talk about tonight was this. Was it a surprise? It was a surprise to me. This reveal from the Four Horsemen over the weekend, and we all know the Four Horsemen make incredible sculpts and just incredible looking figures. They've been doing it forever now, but they're like independent stuff. The stuff that they've been doing has been top level for some time now. But for whatever reason, I've been close to like, maybe I'll buy, maybe I won't. But this Headless Horseman is incredible. But gentlemen, thoughts on this set? Shiz, you're new. Why don't you?
Okay. I have heard and seen people talk about the Four Horsemen, especially the Mythic Legions and all that, for years and years. I don't have any of those, but this will be my first official Four Horsemen figure. I mean, I have figures that they've done for other lines and brands over the years, But this was something I was like, I can't pass on that. I need that. I don't know why, but I love a good flaming pumpkin. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Dan, how about you? You mentioned it's like this is why you need to have some extra cash. Cash.
Yeah, I mean, they said they were going to be showing something off. I was not expecting this. I did get the Krampus that they did last year, and that thing was fantastic. It's always great when they do stuff that's in stock. I'm expecting to get my shipping notice tomorrow on this, and it shouldn't take long because they're pretty much out of New Jersey, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm really excited to have that. And I mean, they said everybody'd have it by Halloween. They're absolutely gorgeous figures, and not for nothing. But price-wise, they used to seem like they were really expensive. But now that the rest of the market is catching up to them, it's like, this is a bargain at 120.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. 100%.
This is a great entry point for a lot of collectors. I think Jay, you said this is your first.
This is my first.
John, did you get this?
Oh yeah, yep.
And so Toysha, so all three of you, this is your first Mythic Legions?
I think John's had them before.
No, I've been buying Four Horsemen's since Gothropolis.
So, but I've seen a lot of people, because I shared the link to buy this today. I've seen a lot of people saying, this is it. This is my first one. This is my 1st one. What a great entry point. It fits with any collection. Throw it out at Halloween. Throw it out. Keep it out year. Just put another head on it. You can keep it out the rest of the year, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to put that Christopher Walken head on it from the old McFarlane.
Yeah, that's right. Huh? The Sleepy Hollow toys.
Yeah, I saw the cape. It has a little wiring in there, the piping, so you can kind of move it around. It looks so freaking cool. And I just watched with my my kids this morning the Tales of Ichabod Crane, the Disney one. And so, you know, this is a character I've always have liked, and it just looks incredible. And you are right, Dan, there is this $120 doesn't seem too bad. Like that's a bargain. And the fact that it's in stock as well, I think that was kind of cool. Like we've gotten so conditioned to, all right, here's my money. I'll see this in 2 years, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I put the emotional roller coaster on fast forward, because it was like, didn't know it existed. Now I've ordered it. I know it's in stock. Where's my shipping notice? You know, like like 2 days ago, I didn't even know it was a thing. And now I'm like, this is taking forever.
Yeah, Shiz, you said the stages of buying toys.
Now you're Scott Pilgriming it, right? By the door waiting for UPS. I got it mainly because Hasbro didn't do anything with Ghostbusters. And I thought, well, there was the Headless Horseman episode. So I'll just put it in there, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. And so after, again, it's kind of funny you said that, Shiz. After watching that this morning, I was like, maybe I should put on the Headless Horseman Real Ghostbusters episode. That's a really good episode. I think this is a home run. It's sold out today. I think it's finally sold out at 150 or something like that this afternoon. So if you haven't gotten it, I'm sorry for that. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe they'll never make another one. I don't know. But for those that got it, I think you're really excited. John, you were surprised it lasted that long. I think you said in our Discord, like you thought it would be over at like 8:05.
Yeah, because they did an early sale yesterday, and then they put up a post saying there was going to be at 8 p.m.
Yep.
And so like I was just waiting, you know, I had an alarm set, get in there at 8 and 1 second, and got it done immediately. When I clicked back, I just wanted to check the page again, and I saw that it was still available, but the all-in package with the coffee mug and the pin set was gone.
Yep.
I was surprised at that, like that people wanted a coffee mug and the pin so much more than the other one.
It was the bundle. It was the bundle deal, John.
Right. But I mean, but you still pay extra. But it does feel like the Four Horsemen are doing us a favor by selling it at 120. Like, thank you. Like, you kept the price reasonable. But yeah, definitely, like years ago, you know, when the first Mythic Legions Kickstarter, when it was like, was it like $45 or $40 per figure on their first Kickstarter? Something like that. And I thought it was
over 30 for sure.
Yeah. And I thought that was expensive. I was like, oh, like, whew. But then, you know, I thought about like their what was the first wave that had that line that they had mutants and like the rhino head figures and the elephant head figures.
Oh, I don't remember what it was called.
But those figures were going for well over $100 a piece. So I thought, well, that's a good investment.
Mhm.
For that first Kickstarter. And now, like 120, I'll take it. You know, that sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Brian Brink says $35 for the first Kickstarter. So there you go. But yeah, really excited for this one. And yeah, for Shiz and I, our first foray. I can't say the word now.
Foray. Yeah, you got to emphasize the four.
Thank you. Into Horseman. And then yeah, I think this one we're excited. Dan, will there be a Toy Galaxy 2 review of this, or at least Dan in the photo booth with this one?
Potentially. I'm not going to make any promises. It's possible.
There's some extra time somewhere.
We'll see. I still got some PO box stuff I got to get to. People sent me some stuff a while ago that's just been sitting there. I need to get to that.
I
Might be
feel
in
it.
chat
Like,
right now.
I feel like anyone, Shiz, you might feel the same way. Like, is there just this ever-growing pile of things that are like responsibilities to film or something? It just is, the anxiety just makes you spike every time you look at that pile.
Well, I feel bad too, because people want to see stuff. If I post, oh hey, yeah, this got sent over and blah blah blah, but I'm sitting on the newest wave of the Ultimates for the Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, I'm sorry everybody, I'm getting to them. It's just, there's a lot to film and edit and talk about and everything else on top of everything else that's piled up for weeks and weeks. So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Dan, I don't know if you've answered this one publicly, but Deke Era G.I. Joe review from Toy Galaxy. You just did your movie review. Is this in the pipeline? Is this on the list?
Yeah, well, it's definitely on the list. I don't know that we're going to get to it soon. We've got the rest of the year already scheduled out, so possible for 2023.
There you go.
Nice.
Also, just plug for your Patreon. I love your is it the Galaxy Digest? The one where you and Producer Gray kind of just run down.
Yep.
Like,
once a month we do the Galaxy Digest, which is sort of talking about, it's taking questions from patrons. It's 3 segments. Questions from patrons. One is looking back at the last 4 videos we just did, and then the last segment is looking ahead to the next 4 videos we're going to do. And then of course there's the Secret Lounge, which is when we have on very interesting guests, people like C. Robert Cargill and you guys, you know, the whole spectrum.
But it's just cool. The inside baseball, it's maybe just because I do a channel too. It's just fun to kind of see, okay, this is how their thought process is or whatever. I really dig that. Shiz, when are you doing your Patreon? That's what I want to know. When's
no, people have asked me before. I just don't have the time to set anything up, to be honest with you.
You're too busy.
I did this. Well, I hit Instagram was weird because it hits 100,000 subscribers, and then it goes like a little confetti kind of exploded on the screen. It's like, hey, congratulations, you can do like subscriptions now. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. And it's like, no, it's good, we just activated it. And I was like, wait, what? And so I get all these people saying like, what, you're not gonna post the news anymore? I'm like, no, nothing. I mean, Instagram's doing it. I have no idea. So yeah, it's Instagram kind of got me on that one.
Yikes.
No, as you can tell, nothing has changed whatsoever.
All right, let's quickly go out the rest of the news here. Masters of the Universe, a few things hit on GameStop of all places. So we're getting some official images for the first time of Snake Armor, Skeletor in the Origins line. We saw this at Comic-Con in that big Eternia setup. But John, what was your thoughts here on these images?
I'm psyched for this figure, but I hope that since they're doing this, that they'll do the Wolf Armor He-Man that the 2000X version was packed out with. I'm excited for this figure. Now that I see a better picture of it, I'm stoked.
Dan, I know you're not an official collector, but you pick up things that are cool. Is this cool enough to pick up, or is it too niche?
I know. I thought I saw these pictures and I was like, I already have a Skeletor. Actually, I already have 2 Skeletors. I'm not even collecting this line. I already have 2 Skeletors. So I was like, that is right up my alley. With the snake helmet. It's kind of like if Serpentor was Skeletor. But I think I'm going to pass on this one. I'm going to try.
Shiz, how about you? I know you've been covering the Origins stuff as well.
Yeah, with Origins, that's my true foray into Masters of the Universe, and I'm really having a great time with these because one, I should say, usually they're easy to come by, and two, they're just so ridiculously goofy that I love it. I can't say I'm a fan of the cartoon, which a lot of people don't like whenever I talk about the toys on my thing. Apparently, I said She-Ra wrong, or I said She-Ra. I don't know. Anyways,
how dare you, sir?
I can't say the names right, but this, like I said, I'm having so much fun with Masters of the Universe because it's so weird and goofy, and in like this day and age, the fact that they still have motion activated stuff, or you squeeze the legs, there's a water pack, and like this doesn't even look like Skeletor, like it could be a different character altogether, so for me, I would get that, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's just they're good toys. They're just like, my kids love them. It's just like, and it's just fun to have play with them with just a cool toy. It's like, I love this too. This it's much more fun than like playing Minecraft with my son, which I suck so bad at Minecraft. I'm so bad at it. So.
Well, I always say it's like over the years going to garage sales or estate sales. By the way, Dan, I'm jealous every time I see that you go to like the East Coast estates and swap meets and stuff, because California. Yeah, they automatically assume like, oh, it's Star Wars, 150, 200.
Yeah,
it's a Luke Skywalker. Yeah, don't worry about it. That's fine. But it's just something that I could have had all these Master Universe figures over the years, but I'm glad that it's now. Now is the fun time to enjoy these, and I think they're doing a great job getting them out. Yeah, they're banging them out left and right. So
nonstop. Robert had a $10 super chat. I want to make sure I bless this in before we move on. Awesome making for me, G.I. Joe, amazing Four Horseman, Headless Horseman. Severed Neck Attachment looks nuts. Dan and GDL, any chance of making it to Legions Con in November? Dan, how about you? You're going to make the trek?
I think I'm like a 75% right now. I really, really want to go. I'm just not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to make it.
Okay. John, are you and I going?
I really doubt that. I really doubt that. November. We got a toy show in November.
We have our toy a toy show we're going to in November. Okay. Is it the 12th, Dan? When is the?
I don't know the exact date.
Okay. All right. Maybe someone in the chat can let us know the exact date.
If it's the 12th, it's a solid no.
East Coast. But let's move along here. This we saw at Comic-Con, so I'm not going to waste too much time on it, but we have these showed up on GameStop as well, so hope that means we're getting them soon. This Snake Men wave. I'm pumped for finally getting some Snake Men. Love that they're kind of throwing them all out here at once with a specific wave. John, thoughts here? It's been one of your biggest gripes with the line so far that we haven't gotten Snake Men. So how pumped are you? Finally, we're this close.
Super pumped. I mean, finally getting Cobra Khan, which he was like the Snake Man, not a Snake Man, just average villain. But finally, like this, probably should have gotten a Cobra Khan 4 waves ago. But yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that these are coming.
Yeah. Shiz or Dan, any thoughts here?
These are all 4 of these are passes for me. Not letting it
I will say all 4 of these are definitely going to my collection. So there you go.
There you go. Awesome. Both
balances out.
Both sides. Well, yeah. Dan, you are not a Motu Origins collector, so you don't need to. It's fine.
Nope.
You know what I appreciated most about Masters of the Universe? It's kind of like what NECA does with their cartoon turtles, is that you really get to build the world out with all the different vehicles and the castle and, potentially Eternia, if that becomes a thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's no place to really put that thing, but, you have everything kind of lined up, and, even with this Ground Ripper thing.
Yeah.
It's fun, and you can kind of recreate the artwork a little bit, you know what I mean, which is also a cool aspect. So
yeah, I'm excited for this set. Wonder why it must be a copyright reason why they're not calling it Road Ripper, but still cool. We're getting it. Cool toy. And then last but not least, these Masterverse figures looking slick. We saw these at Comic-Con, but these are like our first official press photos. Manny Faces is awesome. And he comes with 6 faces, multiple plates. Dan, I know you're a fan of skeletons. We got a skeleton face in here for Manny Face. Does this get added to the collection for you?
So it's funny, as much as I'm not a Masters of the Universe collector, there are like 7 characters that I have from like every release, you know, and Roboto is definitely one. So I'm definitely in on him. And Manny Faces is another one. And yeah, the newer faces in there, especially because one of them is a skull. That's I'll probably grab him. I've been good about not getting into Masterverse, but
yeah,
these 2 are going to be an exception.
I tried not to, and I failed miserably.
Yeah.
Well,
they're fun.
If you're patient, they go on clearance a lot. So like, if you wait a little bit, you can get them at Target for pretty cheap. I mean, Target's been really quick on the trigger finger for clearance. I've gotten some Star Wars stuff for really cheap. I've gotten WWE stuff for pretty cheap. Like there, if you pay it, I don't know, maybe I'm just really sad I go to Target way too much, but like, when I check that toy, I'm like, oh, that's clearance. That's clearance.
No, I mean,
I get my Starbucks. I say hi to Joe and Steve.
Yeah. Shiz, what are you gonna say?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dan.
Oh,
No, I'm saying like that's kind of where we're at. I mean, there's so much good stuff, but there's also so much stuff, and like kind of you guys kind of touched on that with the Andors before I jumped in. A lot of it now is kind of like, do I really need this? And space is becoming an issue, and you know, there's a lot of great stuff. Everyone for the most part is making great stuff, but then it comes down to prices. You know, do I like this more than this? Oh, this is cheaper, but there's less of this, maybe more of the, you know, so that's also something. It's starting to be considered all around.
Oh, yeah. I'm in space danger. I'm beyond space danger in my personal collection. And, you know, it's all this whole, what I'm collecting right now is predicated on like getting a new desk and then changing the shelving and all of this stuff I have to do before the end of the year, before I do my end of year toy room tour. And I'm glad I have that because I need to get it done because my toy room is a disaster right now. Because there's so much stuff, right? It's
yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it's as much as I talk about stuff, a lot of stuff has been cut or heavily like picking and choosing, you know. So
yeah. Dan, I think you've always been very pragmatic in your approach to collecting. Like you have things that you put out or things that you put away, or just it's time to get rid of them. But does having like an actual office space to do your videos from, does it like mean more figure creep, like more stuff gets no, because it's across town. So, you know, that's not, I don't bring the stuff over here with me because I spend more time at home than I spend here. Sure. So I still want that stuff to be at home with me. You know, the stuff that I have here, the few things that are on the shelves, most of them are either duplicates or things that I have a better version that I like more, you know, because so many versions of different characters have been released at this point. Or it's stuff that people have sent in that, you know, we just threw in the background to have stuff here. You know, for me, my at home is, you know, more focus on less stuff and being okay with, you know, opting out of some of these things because, you know, more and more, not to get too heavy here at the end of this Pulse contract. Let's get heavy.
But there's that part of me that's like, well, you know, is this just, do I just keep doing this? I stay in this perpetual state of pre-order and waiting, or do I want to be satisfied with, you know, some of the stuff?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, we're all going to be on hoarders one of these days.
Yeah.
It'll be a season-long arc. Everybody in the toy community is in this.
I mean, I think for all of us, we're not hopefully at the age yet where we're like worried about like what am I saddling like my kids with or like relatives.
Not that yet. Nope.
But there is that sense of like that there is going to come that point where it's just like, you know, my kids are sorting through my collection like, God, why did Dad buy all this shit? Like, why?
I just told my family, just everything's $1, estate sale, blow everyone's minds.
See, Turtle Dave. Yeah, if you're gonna pay me $1 million, absolutely, sure. Jay's Toy Room Organization. If I would. There's a lot I would do for $1 million. Anyway, before we get into stuff, John, let's check it on the like goal. It's 400 is the like goal, steep like goal. We're at 277 on the likes. So, and this is for you. Like, I can just keep this Grizzlor, this Motu Origins Grizzlor, for myself, I guess. So if you all want a chance to win this Grizzlor at the end of the show, hit that like button. We need 400 likes for that to happen. Just real quick check-in on the Haslabs. There's the Heroscape got added. That's at 1,200 backers. The Ghost Rider, the Haslab who shall not be named, is still sitting at 5,400. Quick look at the charts. Brian Brink, God bless him, did a chart every single day, but we didn't have any time to get to it. So I definitely want to check into it today and see how they are doing. And as you can see here, and it's really tiny, so let me zoom this in a little bit. The Ghost Rider is flatlining a little bit. And so he made 3 different lines. This is the 9,000 where it needs to be just to back. 12,000 if you want Mephisto. As a potential other tier. But in all cases, it's already starting to flatline to where it won't hit whatever that theoretical 3rd tier is, in danger of not being able to hit its other tier, and eventually, if it keeps at that pace, within almost 30 days, isn't on a trajectory to hit 9,000. I'm not going to put too much context here, but I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that'll get more interest or it'll have a big last day spike. You can see here, this light blue is the Sky Striker as well, which also kind of just chilled for a long time until Dan Larson came on our show dressed up as a Tom Cruise Maverick, and just it shot up. So Dan, maybe Hasbro needs to call you and to do something here.
We on your show and your fans, we literally killed the Rancor to make that happen. We put that bone in its mouth and threw the skull at the door lock, brought that door down on its head.
Oh my God. But yeah, it's kind of goes back to what you're saying, Dan. There's only so much space. There's only so much funds you can do, and this one's a pricey one, and I think it's just kind of falling into the crosshairs. Similar to how Rancor, there's just other Haslabs that were better, and there's other projects that were expensive as well. So it's just everyone's fighting for the same dollar as far as collectors are concerned, and it's got to be tough to break through. You have to have something that's really impactful, like say Galactus, where Dan, has yours arrived yet?
No, I got the shipping notice, so I guess
nice.
Dan Yun keeps saying November, so
okay, all right. But still, whatever happens. But I think that might be the case. But we'll see. Maybe we can have like a last minute jump for those.
I'm sure they've still got a couple of incentives up their sleeve that I don't think they're going to go down without revealing everything that could potentially be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
It'd be foolish not to, really. But we'll have to see. But again, like almost PulseCon hurts it a little bit because there's just so many pre-orders or so many things being put in. The Headless Horseman as well this weekend, well, there's Haslab money going to something else.
Yeah, they got my money. Yeah. Sorry, Ghost Rider.
So again, love the Marvel team, Dan and Ryan Ting, like really good people. Absolutely love them, but there's only so much money to go around. Okay. I think we're about ending time here, which means it's time for Stump John. Let me make sure I download Toy Shiz's accessory here to make sure it's part of the crew.
I should probably tell you what it is, just in case if you didn't know what it was.
Well, it just message that to me so that way.
Yeah.
Oh, just go ahead. Just say
I'll
it.
just tell you, John, cover your ears.
And Dan, you don't have to, but if you have any nearby, feel free to. Why is it?
I don't have anything.
But let me
no shrinky dinks.
I just tell you, it's one that I forgot. I was looking at my collection and I was like, it's missing something, and I had to look it up, and then I was like, oh, yeah, I am missing this particular item, so that's why I just totally came up the other day.
Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. The other ones here I'm going to bring in from Andrew, who is a frequent. I think these are pretty good, matched with Toy Shiz's submission. John, last week, if anybody watched that, it was not good for you, my friend.
No, I got housed last week.
There was some like random stuff though, too. In all fairness, that was they were coming for blood. Was it Darth Deering that did that one? I can't remember who did that one, but they were coming. KMD Baby, I think, did that one.
That was a rough showing.
Okay, so Are we ready? I have everything teed up here.
Ready. I'm out of the comments.
You have the comments?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Here we go. It's that time again. It's time to try to test John on his knowledge of all things toy accessories. Yes, he claims to be an expert. And we like to test him on that in a segment we like to call Stump John. So everybody, everywhere, all around the world, say it with me. It's time to do what? It's time to Stump
John. Can we do that again?
Yeah, doing something in unison over Zoom is never worked.
I don't want to peek my mic.
Okay. John, these, as we said before, Andrew is 3 of these. Toy Shiz is 1 of these. So good luck to you, my friend. You need to get 3 to win Stump John.
Mm-hmm.
And good luck. This is your first accessory.
Boy. Let me pass. Let me pass on that right now.
Damn, we're not starting out strong. Okay.
Nope.
All right. I'll tell you when it's Shiz's. Don't worry.
Okay. Is that from Cowboys and Moo Mesa?
Let me double check. I don't. Yeah, it is. God dang it. Okay. Do you want to fancy a guess of who it belongs to?
No, I don't know enough of the characters. Sorry, Gary. I just don't know the names.
But you are correct. That is a Cowboys of Moo Mesa pistol. The character is the Dakota Dude gun.
That's pretty good. I thought it was Vigilantes from JLU for a second, but now I look at it, it's like, that's green.
All right. Shiz, anybody that's had to do this that isn't John, aka Ryan Dole, fails miserably. So
one of these days, I'll take the challenge. One of these days. Next time.
Dole is here to hear that. Let's keep going. This is Toy Shiz's accessory.
See? Yeah, I didn't realize until I was looking at my figures the other day. I was like, wait.
What is that thing? I'm gonna have to pass that.
Okay.
Is it like a backpack, or is it like a pistol or handheld something?
Jay, what's the rules here? Can I tell?
Let's he needs to marinate on this one a little bit before we start giving him hints, okay?
Let me think on that. Okay. And I'll go to the next.
Okay. All right. This.
Oh man, I've had that like 100 times. Shoot. I know what that is, but I don't.
Okay.
Know what it is, but I don't.
Lots up in the air right now. John, which one do you want to go back to?
Go back to the bow.
The bow? Okay.
Yep. I can't tell if that's brown or black.
It's brown. I would say it's brown.
Okay. Is it? It's not from. It's not. It's not a Robin Hood figure, right? Mm-mm. It's not from Prince of Thieves.
Nope. It's. I'll give you a hint. It's older, like before Kenner's Robin Hood Prince of Thieves.
Older. It's older. Is it 70s?
It is 70s.
Is it? Is it a Gabriel accessory?
Nope.
It's not from Gabriel.
Nope.
Who the heck would come with a bow? Okay, I gotta keep thinking about it.
Final guess.
Who would come with a bow? Tonto.
Oh, come on. Green Arrow Migo.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so obvious. I mean,
Shiz trash talking.
I thought it was Robin Hood too, man. I swear to God, I was like, it's got to be something like Kenner-ish or something.
Yeah, I googled Kenner Robin Hood.
This
I feel like you should get. That's my hint. I feel like you should know this one.
I should know it. I should know all of these.
Sure, but I feel like this one, like looking at the answer, you shouldn't. Shiz, what hint do you want to give him? I'll. It's your accessory here. What hint? Do you wanna give?
It's from a movie that came out on Christmas Day.
Ooh, okay.
Is it a gun or a backpack?
It's a gun.
Okay. A movie that came out on Christmas Day, and that's a gun. All
right, final answer. Make a guess.
Super Mario Brothers.
What? They had plungers.
I can't tell what that is.
Okay, all right. Shiz, why don't you give the answer?
It is the Phantasm's gun from the Kenner Batman the Animated Series line.
Oh man.
See? You should have had that one.
You know, when it's things that are so obvious, I think about them too much. I would think way too much about it. The other thing, the club.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something from Battle Trolls?
Nope.
No? Okay. I got to throw in the towel. I don't want to keep chewing time.
All right.
Or is it from Turtles?
Nope, it's not Turtles. Just throw final guess.
Flintstones.
It is not. Anybody else here have a guess? No? Shiz, a guess?
Shiz, you're playing right now. You want it to play? You're playing right now.
You know, it's like every time I see something like that, I'm like thinking, like, is it belong to an Ewok? Like, you know, they always have these weird tools. Is it like is it Flintstone? I don't know.
No, it is from Pirates of Dark Water, Niddler's Club.
Of course, yes.
I realize I'm like Alex Trebek, like I have the answer, like, oh, sorry.
That I would never have gotten, to be honest.
You couldn't have been any farther off.
I'm so sorry. You're so.
I got the last time a Pirates of Dark Water accessory popped up. I got that.
You did. That's why I thought this one you would have got. Love that toy line, by the way. All right, we are not even close to the Lyco at 343. So I guess we don't want to give away Grizzlor. So it's no big deal though. Because I'll just hold on to it then. But we have 343 likes. Thank you for everybody that has hit the like button. Also, big thanks to the guests for tonight. Love hanging out. What I've been really enjoyed about this weekend is having a lot of toy tubers on that I respect and really enjoy the content that you put out there. And just getting to hang out and talk toys with you all. Dan and Shiz as well. Thank you so much for coming on today. Dan, anything that you want to plug or share as we close out the show?
No, I think we talked about it all. Our Patreon is there. Follow us on social media, my Instagram, and just watch the show every week.
Yeah. Thursdays.
I logged into 2 different accounts during the show to like this broadcast.
Wait, I forgot to like it. Shoot, hold on. Here we go.
Oh, it's you.
327.
Shiz, how about you, my friend?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And in all honesty, I love what you guys do. It's fun. You make collecting fun. And of course, Mr. Toy Galaxy, no words. You always have such a entertaining show and everything else. So pleasure to be talking with you guys. But if you haven't already, you can follow me, Toy Shiz, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok for some reason. Go for it. I'm on everything.
Awesome. And if it's like I don't even want to search for it, don't worry. In the description of this episode, I put links to every single guest that we had on, all of their channels. You can click on them and give them a subscribe. Click the bell icon. So much fun and engaging content from people that love toys as much as everybody here does. All right, that will do it for this episode of Toy Geeks. Again, for our patrons, only $5. We're doing an after show. John's going to share why he backed out on that his tank, and we'll give away the patron Grizzlor there. And yeah, I think I gotta make sure I thank all. I gotta put the credits for all of our patrons. Here we go. There it is. Thank you to all of the patrons of the channel. Again, you can come through our after show. You get to listen to the podcast exclusive feed. You get your name in the credits of every episode. And some exclusive Discord, all that cool stuff for only $5 a month. Thank you to all the family members. And yeah, until next time, hasta luego. And goodbye. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Wait, I did go so early. We still have 34 seconds. 380.
I'm gonna get it.
No. Sorry, buddy.